How you guys doing, YouTubers? First thing I want to say before I start, all praises due to God, the head of my life, the one who made all this possible. No, seriously though, let me stop playing. What I want to talk about though is the fact that atheists have no real place in politics. Now, I'm not saying that there's not atheist politicians. Matter of fact, I was surprised to find that there are more atheist politicians in the U.S. than I thought, and apparently we do have an atheist U.S. congressman now. So, good job on that one. But, what I want to talk about though is the fact that we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough to get ourselves in politics, but we're also not doing enough of getting our issues pushed through. Because we have interests too, and we have things that we need to get taken care of too, and we're not being looked at by our congressmen, by our state elected officials, by our city councilmen. We're not getting looked out. And the reason why we're not getting looked out there because we are not doing anything to force them to listen to our issues and fight for our vote. If you think about it, all these politicians, they rush down and they want to reach out to the what? Black community, Latin community, Jewish community. They want to reach out to all these groups because they want their vote, and they know that these groups they're gonna vote according to whether or not their issues are going to get pushed, and they want their vote, so they go and they fight for their vote. Now, but yet they don't fight for the atheist vote. You know, the Average report for 2008 said, well, not even that report. If you really want to just look at all multiple reports, it's pointing that the atheist population in the United States is drastically growing, and that we stand somewhere along 10, 15, maybe even 20, 25% of the population. But let's just say 10% of the population because it's easy numbers. And let's say that there is 200 million Americans in this country, not including illegal immigrants. We're just doing some very rough estimates to make the numbers easy. I mean, that's freaking 20 million atheists. But it's more than that. It's way more than that. My point is that atheists are the largest minority group out there, and yet, what are we doing for ourselves? Why are we not getting our issues pushed in these elections? Now, President Obama said that he was gonna do some stuff for the atheists. Well, I'm still waiting for him to fulfill these promises. And unfortunately, I really don't think that they're gonna that the right wing in America is going to let him fulfill these promises. But still waiting, and I guess we got to be optimistic about that. Now, what I want to talk about is, even on lower levels, city councilmen, your state officials, we don't really push them to come to our communities and to fight for our vote. And this is something that we need to start doing. So, I'm going to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about the fact that we got to get out there into our communities, and we got to do more. We got to get ourselves out there, get our faces out there, but we don't need to be known as the bad people. We need to be known as someone that's going to be out there helping the community. So we need to do more things like adopt highways. We need to do more things like tutoring people, launching tutoring sessions and things like that, giving back to the community, and so that they can see that you don't have to be some religious institution, some church, in order to do good for the community. Then, after we get that going, maybe then we can start educating people a little bit more about what it means to be an atheist and where do you really get your morals from, and maybe then we can have the local politicians realize that they're going to have to come fight for our vote. But that brings me to my next point. Nobody's going to fight for your vote if you're not organized enough to really make any difference. If you're not organized enough to say, hey, the atheists are not going to vote for you if you do this. Not speaking for all atheists, but speaking for the majority. It's the same thing that black people, basically, we had to get organized, and we had to say, hey, we're not going to vote for you. You don't give us a reason to. Now, does that mean that every single black person is not going to vote for you because you upset the black person? No. But it does mean that you're going to basically lose the black vote. And that's what we need to establish in the atheist community. Now, next thing I want to talk about, probably going to be going a little bit off topic here. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Not enough black atheists in this movement. Now, I made previous videos talking about why there are not a lot of black atheists. But, that still being said, it can be a lot more than it is. I think that being that we got majority white people leading this movement, it's not a problem. I'll be the first one to say it. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem comes in is that if it stays like this, then what are you going to have in the future? You don't want it fixed where the only leaders that can emerge from the atheist community will be white males, which is actually the majority of this atheist movement. So, you don't want that. So in order to kind of fix that, we're gonna have to start getting some more black people out. Now, I've always been trying to do that. I've been trying to go out and educate black people on, first off, why they shouldn't even be messing around with the Christian faith in the first place. And second of all, why they don't need to be messing around with religion. Why they're better than that. And why they can overcome that and still be a good, moral person. So it's been an uphill battle for me. So far, out of talking to over 100 people about this, I've been able to convince 0. So it's been very, very difficult. It's been an uphill battle. But I'm not going to give up, because I want to see more black people get involved in this movement and realize that this is not just a movement for white atheists. This is a movement for all atheists, and that there's nothing discriminatory about this movement whatsoever. They can join, they can emerge as leaders, and they can do great things for this movement as well. But getting back on to the subject, after you get your community educated, you get involved in your community, go ahead and run for office. Now, I'm going to tell you though, I'm going to tell you right now that running for office is not going to be easy. As a matter of fact, now I'm from South Carolina. I still live in South Carolina. I'm considering getting the hell out of South Carolina. South Carolina has a law on the book, very, very, very old law on the book. It's actually in the Constitution, in the state Constitution, that says that if you are an atheist, well, it doesn't say it in those exact words. It says that you can't hold any public office unless you hold some type of belief in a higher power. Whatever that higher power may be, you have to hold some type of belief. So, there are foreseeable ways of getting around this, but ultimately for an atheist to publicly come out as an atheist, don't believe in God, don't believe in a higher power, the right wings which dominantly control South Carolina will give you such a hard time that you will be basically forced out because of the simple fact that technically you are violating the state constitution. So this is something that needs to get changed here. And it's ignorant things like that atheists going to have to start fighting to change as well. But that's not the real reason why you're going to have such a big problem. The real reason why you're going to have such a big problem is because for some reason everybody in South Carolina seems to think that you got to have some type of belief or you're going to be a horrible leader. Not sure how we as atheists are going to get them to realize better, but something's going to have to give, and we have to get them to realize this. Otherwise, no matter how many times we're going to run, we're always going to lose. Right now, we got this governor Sanford here, and he is a horrible, horrible governor. But unfortunately, he is far